Hello. Welcome back. Yeah, I know it's been a while. And yes, I intend for the channel very much to keep going. Sorry, my throat's a little scratchy. And I'm having some coffee. And it's a beautiful day today, and it's summer. And yes, I have been away. But I am back now. And I mean, I'm sorted and set. Yes, I've been through hectic ups and downs. I'm not even gonna lie. Both good and bad. But now I can grow plants again and share all of my plant growing craziness with all of you who are also plant crazy, who are learning how to be plant crazy as well. So today's episode is about turmeric. So turmeric, which is in the family Zingiberaceae, which includes all of the gingers and cardamom. Yeah, I think cardamom too. And all of your shampoo gingers, all of those kinds of guys. And it's called Curcuma longa, botanical name. And it's from around India. So I'm going to say Southeast Asia because right now, by this point, it's used in so many different places in the world, but it originates in and around India. Excuse me, there are a huge array of different types of turmeric. Forgive me if I say ginger accidentally, because I know I'm going to do that. Because they're so similar and they grow together for me. I have them growing next to each other, along with all my other gingers. And so I may say that. Curcuma longa, yeah, there's a whole huge host of different varieties, from black ginger to black turmeric, black turmeric, blue turmeric, yellow, orange, red, white, and so on and so on and so on. What I'm going to do is run you through growth, care, and culture of turmeric. I won't do harvesting today because we're only in the middle of summer while I'm filming, so my turmeric plant has still got a long way to go, at almost 7 months to go before it actually does begin to flower. Before it does begin to die away for harvesting. It will only flower after 2 years. So when you buy some turmeric in the shop, right? And you go to the store and you get some turmeric, you generally would find it presented the same way as ginger when it's raw, right? Like those little rhizomes. So that makes it a rhizomatous plant. So that thing is called a rhizome. The plant runs underground on a rhizome, sending up leaves during the growing season and then resting during the sleeping season. So if you live in a place where you have summer, winter, it will grow in summer and then rest in winter. If you grow in a place where it is wet and dry season, so that's more tropical, then it grows in the wet season and sleeps in the dry season. Okay, that's when you harvest, in the dry season or in winter. Now in the southern hemisphere, obviously we start growing around August because that's the end of our winter. Conversely, I think it would be April for the northern hemispherians, if you want to call it that. That's when you start growing it. It needs a long growing season. And yeah, anyways, let's go take a look at it. This is my turmeric plant, okay? Now, look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Tell me this is not beautiful. And look how big these leaves are. That is massive, and that's not even as big as they get. This plant's only just getting started now. It's got this beautiful rich green, and the temperature of the leaves are really nice. It's it's really soft, and it's got a cool temperature to it. Not just because I've watered and it's wet now, but even when it is dry on a hot day, you can kind of feel it. It manages to maintain a really nice cool temperature around the plant, or the plant itself. Excuse me. So turmeric, when you grow it, the type of soil you want to get, it's really nice as a container plant. You just need to make sure that you get the right container if you want to harvest turmeric. So here I've got a 35 centimeter pot, okay, but I started it off in this. It's going to be bumped up now, next week. I'm actually going to, oh look, check this out. There are some gecko eggs. That's a gecko's eggs. Must have fallen from somewhere. It's a little cluster of gecko eggs. Anyways, sidetracked. Sorry. I'll put that back there. Maybe Mama will come back or whatever. So, yeah. I'm going to bump the pot up to as big as I can go. Remember, with turmeric, depth is not really important as width, sort of as horizontal space is. So the plant runs on a rhizome, so it's going to run around the upper surface of the pot and send roots down. Okay, so if you can get something shallower than this, that's perfectly fine. If you can't, that's also fine, because look, the roots are coming out the bottom of the pot there. So this is not really that deep, but yeah. The important thing is you want to use a cocoa peat based soil. Okay, so cocoa peat or cocoa fiber mixed with a lot of organic matter. Turmeric, all of the gingers are heavy feeders because they're producing something really spectacular underground during the growing season. So you really want to feed it as much as you can. I set them off with a controlled released fertilizer. So what I'll do is I'll get my little pieces, the rhizomes that I buy in the shop, you know, or well, I mean, this time I don't buy them anymore because I've had them for so many years. I save them in sand. I put them in sand through winter, or I just leave them in the ground, and then I pull some pieces up, I break some off, and then I let them dry for a day, and I prepare my soil. So what I do is I use cocoa peat, I'd say a good 60%, and then some cocoa, and the rest either a small mixture of perlite, vermiculite, and animal manure. So rotted compost is also really good. Leaf litter is also really good, but well rotted. That's important. And then I'll place my little rhizomes in there, and I'll cover it up with some more of the soil that I made, and then the mix that I made, and then I'll put a nice thick blanket of pine bark on top of it, and that just helps to seal in the moisture. And as it breaks down, it also helps to feed the plant and keeps it cool during the hot weather. Okay, then you put it in a warm place, and you just wait for it to start sending up shoots, and it will grow like crazy. In terms of water and light, it wants strong to direct morning sun, okay, up until about 12 o'clock. Thereafter, it needs to go into shade. And you'll put it directly into, or at least if a tree or something passes over, then that's great, because it'll provide some respite from the midday sun up until about 3 o'clock. If it's just dappled light overhead, then that's also really good. The plant loves water, so you'll see that this one is standing in water, but that's because we have insane daytime temperatures of like 35. Like, especially right now in January, it's just January and February, it's just been insane thus far, and we're not even halfway through. So you can do this and just let it evaporate and let the plant use the water. I do this with a lot of my gingers. Okay, it's a nice way to regulate their watering. Once it's dry for a day or two, provided the plant isn't stressing, then I'll give it a day or two before I water again. And how do you determine when the plant is stressing? If this leaf is kind of hanging and it's like it seems to have lost all of its luster, it goes flaccid, then it needs water, and because the plant is stressing. Okay, now something interesting with the gingers as well that some of the other videos you find on YouTube may not mention, you'll find they like doing something called guttation, which is basically a mechanism tropical plants use to rid themselves of some excess water. So in the morning you might find these beautiful glistening drops on the edges, specifically along the edges of the leaves. Turmeric is no stranger to that, as is cardamom, and some of the alpinias and all the other gingers. So they will do that, including ginger itself also does that. So don't be alarmed, nothing wrong. It's not dew or anything like that. The plant is actually breathing out that water. So that is light and water. And then lastly we get to the flowering, and which takes us into harvest. Okay, you can feed the plant also, by the way, so you put a controlled released fertilizer in there. That's really, really good, because they are heavy feeders, and even with all of the animal manure and stuff, they use it up pretty quickly. So you can start off small and then bump them up. It's better I think it's better because you're giving them new soil, and when you give them that soil, it's fresh and it's strong. But if you put them in a big pot and over time and you allow the plant to grow into the pot, a lot of the nutrients and things will get washed out, so rather start with a small pot and then bump it up. Okay, then we look at the flower. Now this one here you can see is a bit overexposed. This is a different plant. This one I've just kind of not really looked after very well, but it's an older plant. It's just where I keep some of my rhizomes in a pot in the shade somewhere. And this one has now started shooting, and here's the inflorescence. So that is a turmeric flower, or turmeric inflorescence. And why do I call it an inflorescence? Because it's a compound flower. So this whole thing is an inflorescence, and each of these individual things are the flowers. So that's where you would eventually get seed from if they get pollinated. I don't know of the sexual viability of the flowers, because I've never tried, but I might do that too. I have thought about it. They flower after 2 years only. So if you don't get flowers the first year, don't be alarmed. Wait until the second year and leave one portion unharvested at the end of the growing season. So it's now midway, it's going to flower. You can see in the bottom of this pot, why you need to bump it up is because this one desperately needs to come out. It's actually deformed the shape of the pot. It's running against the side, and there's the rhizome, which is basically your turmeric. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. You can see I've nicked it there, and you can see the bright color typical of turmeric. So let's see if it still smells of turmeric. Yep, that definitely smells of turmeric. That's lovely. So I'll close that up. This one desperately needs to be bumped up so it can produce more shoots. But all in all, that is a quick and dirty on turmeric. I really think that it's worth growing. Why not? You get spice. So when the cold weather comes, in terms of temperature, when it gets down to 10 degrees Celsius consistently, the plant will start to brown. It will go well into winter here. And if it dies away completely, then or even partially, it tells you the turmeric is ready. So once this leaf is completely really looking ugly and it's all browned up and damaged, then you can pull up the turmeric, and then you just put back what you don't need, okay, or what you want to have rest there for the winter, and then that's pretty much it. Can I tell you anything else about it? I don't know. I guess that's it. That is turmeric. So if you like this episode, once again, I'm going to encourage you to click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and stay tuned, because I've got a lot of things for us to share and talk about, and also to catch up on a lot of your comments. I'm so sorry. When life happens, it just happens. Check this guy's it's a fork-tailed drongo. Looks like he's been attacked by something and is doing an alarm call. Let's see if I can show you. That's him right there. His feathers are all weird. He's drinking some water. Hey, dude. Alrighty. Okay, for now, I'm gonna say take it easy, guys. Have a good one, and catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.